Hello.
What's up, saucers?
What's up, guys? Listen, this is going to be a good one. After all the darkness we've brought to you in the past weeks,
we're going to bring you some more.
So this episode is all about core memories and how they shape the stories that who we become, like the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, accurate or not. Like there are a lot of things that memories that kind of create false narratives in our heads as well about ourselves. But it's really, I love diving into this with people that you know really well and that you love, because it's like you hear these little tiny anecdotes that seem random, and then you're like, oh, this explains, like it's a little piece of the puzzle, like who everyone is.
And I think this is so fun too, because it's like the stories that we're telling, like at least for me, I've thought about them before, but I haven't really talked about it in detail the way like we want to do today.
Yeah.
And I still think it's a really cool idea to do, especially like to have it like recorded.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can look back and like your ancestors.
I know.
I can look back like, oh, wow.
I think about this because our grandparents obviously didn't have, like, any pictures I see of my grandparents are their actual tangible photos, and they're in a box in my parents' house, and they're like black and white, some in color, but like I only see them if mom or dad dig them out, or like someone in my family find, you know, to have this kind of content of generations before you is really cool.
Yeah. I'm excited. Who should go first?
Go for it.
Okay. I'm going to start with my earliest memory. It is 3 years old. And I am in a swimming lesson with my swimming instructor. But the memory that I have is I had just completed a swim. I like successfly swam
you just
or
did
something.
Some laps.
Yeah. I think I just like successfully maybe did a breaststroke to her. And so my memory like basically triggered as soon as I remember her picking me up in her arms and being like, I am so proud of you. You did it, Alissa. You did it. I am so proud of you.
Oh my God, that's your first memory?
That's my first memory.
That's so cute.
And it's a thing, like I looked it up or a friend told me, I can't remember. But they were like, that makes sense because your early memories, like your earliest ones, are usually triggered because of an emotion that's attached to it.
Yeah, yep.
And that was, it was a very strong feeling of making someone feel proud, and how that made me feel. It made me feel so accomplished, and like I just remember her being so sweet.
That's great. That's so cool.
And it was so earnest. Like I just remember being little and being in her arms and like just looking at her face while she's telling me like how proud she is of me, and me being like,
oh my God,
this is a cool feeling. Like, what is this feeling?
That is so cute. And it's so early memories I love because, well, you know me, I have like a crazy amount of super early memories, but it is tied to an emotion, and it proves that like kids are not, there's complex emotions going on in their heads as very little kids, even though they can't speak, you know, understanding a language fluently before they can speak. So anything you're saying, they are absorbing, like, and that teacher obviously like has no idea. Like that was just a day for her. Like, oh, I gotta go teach these kids. That triggered your very first memory.
Yeah. I mean, good for her. I love, you know, shout out to teachers, shout out to swim instructor. I mean, she had to have been like I don't know,
maybe like a
19.
College. Oh yeah.
Like,
oh, that's so
late
cute.
teens, early 20s, I feel like. And she was just, it was so genuine.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely made her proud. She wasn't just saying that.
I was really good. Okay.
I'm trying to think of like how that shaped me today, but I just feel like, I don't know. It's that kind of feeling you want to chase, where you want to make somebody proud.
And like, it's a really good foundation as a first memory for confidence building.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So maybe that's part of why now you're here as an actor. We have a podcast.
Because of her.
It's her.
Oh my God, imagine.
All thanks to her.
Yeah. All right, you go.
My first memory, I have like, this was my first birthday. We were celebrating. It was my first, I was one, but I have like I have some earlier ones, but they're not as formative. And I used to tell my parents that I had these memories, and they were like, didn't believe me because I was so little, until I would describe like the layout of the house and where the furniture was in this room, because we moved houses a little bit when I was little. So we were only in this house, for example, for like 1 year. So if I'm describing this room, they're like, wow, she really was that age. Like, but this is my first birthday, and this is hilarious to me because of, like you said, they're tied to an emotion, and it's, we lived in Colorado, and my grandparents were there, and I had like an aunt and uncle there. In my mind, I recently saw a picture of that house, and the table was not that big. In my mind, it's like a long table because I was in my high chair at the end of it.
Yeah.
And they brought me a little cake, like a small personal size cake. And I don't know what I did. Well, in pictures, I do know what I did. I shoved my face in it, but I don't remember that. I just remember doing something with the cake. Everybody's laughing, and my Aunt Jill is sitting to my right. And I remember her saying, oh, she's so cute. And the thing is, the strongest thing about this memory is I felt condescended to. I was like, and I remember, I am not even kidding you. I was like, I know that I'm the baby.
I am not a newborn.
I remember being
Come to me correct.
I know that this is what people say and everyone thinks I'm cute, but like the way she said it, and she was just like, she was sitting right next to me and just like, oh, and looking at everyone, looking at me, and she's so cute. And I was like, I am not cute. Like, I was pissed. I was so mad because I felt so like, funny. And this is how I tie it to me now. I remember though that I tie it to how I am now, and I'll say that part, but I remember it being so intense. Like I was like, I hated her for that. Like I literally was like pissed. But I couldn't speak. I wasn't like saying anything. No one knew. It's just all going on in my head while everyone's like, oh, cute. And I'm just probably sitting there like with cake all over my face, but I was mad. And now I think about it and I'm like, I have this, well, my childhood, like elementary school and on, of not being like taken seriously.
Yeah.
And my dad always, in particular, both my parents like talked to me and my brother. They never used like baby voices with us. They would talk to us like they talk to each other.
Yeah.
And so I was used to that. Maybe that was also part of it. My parents were never like, oh, no, look at her. It's
like you understood a different communication.
Yeah,
and like
maybe
that triggered the memory.
Yeah,
or
maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And why the emotion was tied to it. Because my parents, even in videos of my parents with me when I was a baby, you know, the voice is a little, it's like, oh, Molly, but it's
like
not,
higher,
it's not like that. Like my aunt was just like, I was like, no, don't do this to me.
Okay, you know how like we have really weird things in common?
Yes.
If you're an OG SOSer, you know all the things, weird things in our life that we have in common. I have a similar memory, but it's my 4th birthday. I'll make it very fast. 4th, and I didn't even write this down. 4th birthday, and all I remember was that like, I think everyone had to go. I don't know what it was, but I got upset about something. I think everyone had to leave. And this was like my family. This wasn't even like a friend birthday. This was like my family, like extended family was over. And then, I thought everyone had to leave, and they're like, oh, no one's leaving. It's not yet. We're just, I'm talking about something else. And I was like, oh, so I was like, stop crying or whatever I was. Maybe it might've been a little tantrum. I don't know. And I'm like, okay. And then my cousin's husband, or my mom's first cousin's husband, Ken, love you. He just started laughing at me 100%. I mean, I'm sure it was funny.
Right,
like, but I remember looking at him like I was condescended to.
Yes.
I am like,
you're just like, fuck you.
Like,
because you know
you're validated.
Yes. It's a validation. That's it. And that's what like my parents have always talked to me. Like, I know when I was throwing fit, you know, you're the kid and you know you're irrational and your parents are right, but like when they really come, like even kneeling down to be your eye level and be like, well, Molly, like I understand, and you know, and I'm like 3 and I'm like, but like that type of respect, kids acknowledge it because you get pissed off.
It's so funny. A really funny one is because I'm 10 years younger than my sister, so that comes with like different funny things. You're different generations. It's like, so she would, when she was a teenager, bring friends home, and I loved being a ham. I loved just making people laugh and like I whatever. This one time I'll never forget. Core memory. Oh God, I might have told you this before. So she had like some boys over and some girls too. It was just like maybe like 4 or 5 people she had. And she was in like one of the guest rooms and they were like, I don't know, just hanging out. And so I would like knock on the door, and like usually her friends were always, I mean, they were always so nice. They're just like, oh, you're a cute little sister. And so I came in, they're like, oh, hi, Alissa. And I had just seen Ace Ventura.
A what?
Ace Ventura.
Oh, I thought you said I saw a Sventura. I was like, what's a Sventura? Okay.
I had just seen Ace Ventura. So love that movie. Came in, clothes were on. Asked first. Do you know, have you seen that movie?
Yes, I've seen it, but I feel like I've seen a video of you as a little girl, like walking like this.
So I came in ass first and started talking with my butt, while spreading my cheeks. Where Jim Carrey did that. They're like, hello, Angela's friends. I am Angela's sister. My name is Alissa.
Oh my God,
just
you've never
spreading
told me
my
this.
fucking cheeks. But with my clothes on. And I just remember like some kind of laughs with her friends, but she was so livid. She'd be like, Mom! She was just screaming. Because I was like, she was like 16.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like 17 or something.
Oh my God.
So pissed.
Oh my God.
So pissed.
You walk into the room butt first.
Yeah, I have a lot of like core memories of pissing off my sister. It's so funny. But I don't know how that affects me today. I think that like I just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stories of me not giving a fuck when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I would like walk up to guys, all the guys I had a crush on in elementary school. I'd be like, you're hot, I like you. I didn't give a fuck, and I don't understand where it came from.
I don't know if it's like I really don't know, because it's like family dynamics are.
Yeah.
Because I would say, oh, maybe because you're the youngest, but I'm the oldest and I'm the same. So I don't know why.
I don't know. And I'm like, it's so weird because I'm such an introvert now.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least like by comparison.
Yeah. Same.
But yeah, I don't know.
That's hilarious. My second one that I wrote down, I kind of did it in like age order.
You do it.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I tried to do that too.
So this, I was in like second or third grade. This is sad. I was in I was mad about something, and I was in a fight with my dad, I guess. And I don't know what it was about. I just remember, and I used to feel like this growing up at times. I'm very much like my dad and very much like my mom, but I somehow felt like the odd duck in the family with the three of them sometimes, like my brother and my parents. And I know it was one of those moments. I don't know what it was about, but I was just feeling like I'm like, don't belong here, you know? And I was, so I was like 8 or 9. And I said to my dad, you love Dylan more than me.
Oh.
And I remember.
You were third grade?
Yeah, I was like second or third grade. And I remember he got really quiet. He just looked at me and he just walked upstairs. And I was like, what? And so I kind of like sat there for a minute. And then I walked upstairs. Oh, it's going to make me cry.
I know.
I walked upstairs, and it was the first time I saw my dad cry. So I walked upstairs,
no.
and I look in the bedroom, and he was just laying on his bed, and he was crying. And I was like, I don't know if I went in. I don't think I know it literally. If I I'm going to cry if I.
I don't like that.
No, I know. I literally like, oh my God, it will never leave me, because I was just like, the power of like your words. It's so sad, and it's so
legitimate.
And I didn't mean it. Like, you know, it was just like I felt out. I felt like I didn't belong, and then I said that, and then it was like the first lesson in like, oh my God, first of all, your parents are human beings, and second of all, your words have a lot of power, even though you're the kid and he's mad. But like I don't even think I went in there. I'm sure I've told him this at this point, but at that point, I don't think he knew that I saw. The door was like cracked, and I just looked in, and he was just like on the bed. Like,
did it make you change your mind at all? Like, did it trigger me like, oh, I have to be wrong, or did it not kind of make you think of that at all? Well, it made me realize.
I mean, I knew that I knew he didn't love Dylan more than me. I said it in that moment because I was like kind feeling like something was unfair. Yeah. Okay. But it did make me realize like you can't just fly off the handle and say things in the heat of the moment, because oh my God, seeing him that will be forever with me. I'll never forget that. That was terrible. Yeah.
I don't like that story.
I know, me neither.
Don't ever tell that again. We're deleting it off the pod.
Yeah, we're gonna take that one off. Sorry, guys.
Oh shit. Okay, I have a similar. It's a good one to piggyback.
Great.
But it's not a sad one. It's more just interesting. I think I might have told my mom this. If mom, you don't know this story, you have to, but I might have been around the same age as you. I feel like maybe younger, maybe first or second grade. So like 6 or 7. I went to I think it was another kids party, or it was like my mom's friend's party and they had kids. It was something like that, but went over another person's house and it was a bunch of parents there, a bunch of kids, it was a big party, daytime party. And I don't know, like during the party I was just like, where's my mom? I'm like ready to see my mom. I don't know if I was ready to go or just see where my mom was. And I go outside and I see her back toward me, and then I see her hands up like this, and like, or just do it like doing that.
Yeah.
It's
cigarette.
Like, yeah. And her friend is like looking at her, so her friend is kind of facing me. And then I hear the
if you guys aren't watching YouTube, she's like lighting a cigarette.
Yes. And I'm like, Mommy? And then she doesn't turn around, which was like, immediately, this is where my core memory triggers in. I'm like, or triggers. And then my mom goes, and I can hear her. She goes, please don't tell me that's my daughter behind me.
You heard her say that?
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
The friend goes, your daughter's behind you. And she's like, and I can't even remember what happens after that. Like that's where my memory stops.
See, in moments like this, I wonder if the reason like you said, the reason you remember it is because you realized that she didn't want you to see it. If she had acted normal about it, you might not remember her doing it.
And she might have done that before when she acted normal, but for some reason she knew she was caught, and she was right because I remember it. Because I remember seeing, I knew it was a cigarette, and I remember that was during a time where she was like trying really hard to quit cigarettes. So it was like, she wasn't trying to do that around the kids. And she actually quit not long after that. So I give her a lot of props for that.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny because it was my first instinct to be like, parents aren't like perfect.
Right.
They are adult humans that make mistakes and hide as well. And that's the thing too. It's like they hide, they lie.
Right.
Like they're not above the law.
Right. That's the thing. Like realizing when your parents that they're actually human. And then being our age now and being like, when my mom was my age, I think I was 4. I'm like, what the hell? What?
So funny.
This is 4th grade. And I remember, so I've always wanted to be a singer, like my whole life. I never wanted to do anything else. And so in elementary school, your only outlet is like music class, and then trying out for the solos. You have like one line, and I tried out for every solo, and I got all of them. But I remember there was this one girl, she was a friend of me. We were like best friends, but also had like competition between us. Her name was Alex. I really loved her. But she was auditioning for the same solo, and we didn't know who got it yet. And we had just auditioned, and then I went out to get a drink of water at the drinking fountain. So like classes and sessions, so no one's in the hall. And then she came out to get a drink also. And it was just both of us in an empty hall in elementary school at the drinking fountain. I'm drinking water, and she's standing behind me waiting. And she goes, do you know your nostrils flare when you sing?
Ooh, I thought this was going to be like like you guys hug or shake hands.
No. She said that, and I was like, I don't remember. I think I just was like, oh, okay. But the day I went home, I walked home from school that day, went to the bathroom, sang the ABCs in the mirror, and she was right. But I was like, you were just trying to, and then actually,
get in your head?
Yes, trying to get in my head. I did get that solo though. But I remember it because I was like self-conscious.
What did you say?
Like,
do you remember?
I don't remember what I said. I think it just like a one line, or like I didn't say. Yeah, I think I was like okay, and acted like it didn't stick with me. But like all day I was thinking about it. The second I got home, I went in the bathroom and sang in the mirror, and I was like, wow, she's right.
The bitch was right.
Yeah, but even to this day, I'm like, that's some like stereotypical.
I've gotten that note before when I'm acting.
Really?
I fucking hate it. Yeah.
You're just like, this is what I look like. This is what I look like. Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. It's drama.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. She knew mind games at 10 years old.
Yes, she
at
did.
9, 10 years old.
Oh yeah, she
that's
played
insane.
a couple of them on me. Maybe I did them to her too. I don't know. Probably because it was.
No, maybe.
I feel like it had to, or we wouldn't have had that. Like,
how fun if we can like get her on the pod and like talk about.
We're friends on Instagram now.
We'll tag her in this.
She has a really cute daughter. Yeah, Alex. Hey.
Thank you for the note. Thank you for the feedback.
I know.
I'm gonna process.
You were correct. Yeah. Didn't stop me, but you're right.
Oh my God, that is so good. I'll say a lot of these stories, I'm gonna combine these.
I have some to combine.
I think there was like a really, well, I don't know if this could combine, but I had like a lying phase. Did you ever have a lying phase?
Yeah, it's probably still going.
None of these stories are real. It was like first, second grade, I feel like, where this was really prevalent. Like I was just lying about everything. I think it made sense because I wanted to be an actor. And I always was like testing what I could get away with. Exactly. Like I remember for show and tell, I would literally do weird shit. Like I would bring in rocks from my pond in our backyard and put them in a mason jar. And it's like, I wonder what my parents thought I was doing. I was like, I'm bringing in this show and tell. Like, okay. And I would tell everybody that my dad was an astronaut and these were moon rocks. I was like, because I knew it was, but I was at a base school because I thought it was like so fun because I had a dad in the Air Force and like he could be an astronaut because he's in the Air Force. No. But I'm like with a bunch of other military kids too. So it's just like, but they bought it. My teacher was like, okay, yeah, let's put it on display. There's no fucking way she believed this.
Dude, show and tell was the shit.
The shit.
I loved it.
I was just a menace, but it got so bad that they actually had to go into counseling. No joke. Like they had to put like, I eventually, so I guess my teacher didn't. I don't know what was the trigger, but I had to go into counseling because I lied so much.
Oh my God.
And I just remember it was just lame. And I guess I had stopped because I remember not needing to do it as much, but I still just went into acting.
Right. You're like, now I'll just do it, but legitimately.
But like I just did it to my parents to get out of trouble. I didn't do it in like my life. But like,
so funny.
Yeah, every counseling session was just like reading The Boy Who Cried Wolf over and over again and being like, whatever.
Wow.
Like,
and you already knew. It wasn't like you were, I guess, I mean, there's no way for adults to know at that point, is this going to be like a sociopath or not? But you're like, no, I'm just testing. I know what's right and wrong. Like,
yeah, I didn't give a fuck. And it was one of those things too. Yeah, it was a weird, I don't give a fuck. Sorry, this is another memory that's triggered where I was in CCD and it's not a lying thing, but this is, I guess, more of the piggyback of I didn't give a fuck. I remember learning the Bible and everything, and then it was like the story where he walked on water, or it was Lazarus, like resurrecting Lazarus. I don't know what it was. I was just, I raised my hand. I was just like, this isn't real.
Yeah.
And they were like, Alissa. Yeah. And I got in trouble. And I think if it was either that class or the next week CCD where we were like practicing the body of Christ, like eating the body of Christ before our communion. And I threw it up in the garbage immediately. So there's no way, first of all, that they didn't think I was of the devil.
Yeah, I'm sure they thought.
But it's just like another story where I didn't give a fuck. Yeah. Like I didn't care at all. And I'm very...
I love that.
I love that about me.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
Love that for me.
Love that for me. It's the best.
Yeah. I don't know.
This one actually is me being that way, and how you said with boys too, like growing up.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was never like one of those girls that just wanted, in elementary school, you know, or middle school, people start like holding hands. They have boyfriend, girlfriends, and I like never really wanted it.
Yeah.
Although I was very flirtatious, I just didn't want to be like locked down. And so I know that because, first I remember these are both 7th grade. I'll put them together, but I really, really liked this boy Jake, like to the point where it was really annoying me. Like I couldn't stop thinking about him, and I was like, this is awful. Like, why am I? And then I thought, and then for a while I was like, well, I just have to like, because all the other girls, you just wait and hope that he asks you out.
Yeah.
And it was like, maybe, I don't know how long it was. It felt like forever. It was probably like a week where I was just like, couldn't stop thinking about him. And I was pissed about it. I was like, this is so annoying. And then I was like, I remember one day at home, I was just like, why the hell do I have to wait and hope that he asks me out? Like,
yeah,
this is why. Yeah. So then I went to school the next day, and we had like separate reading groups, and his reading group was out in the hall, and it was just him and like his 3 guy friends. So I give myself props because this is some balls.
Yeah.
I asked to go to the bathroom, and I had written a note and was like, Jake, will you go out with me? And walked into the hall. It's just him and his like boys. And I just walk right past, give him the note, go stand in the bathroom for like 30 seconds because I didn't have to pee. I was like standing there. Yeah. And then I walked out. He hands it back to me. I go back into the classroom and it says, Molly, I'm with Kate, but maybe later. And I remember like the feeling though, it was like, oh, okay, I didn't know. But it was like release. I was like, I am released from this agony that I was in, thinking I had to wait for a man to come to me. And then the second one from that same grade, my friend Scott asked me to be his girlfriend in gym class. And then I remember being in the locker room with my girl and I was like, what do I, she's like, just say yes. You like him? And I was like, yeah. She's like, say yes. So I said yes. This was the last period of the day. I said yes, go home. And all night I was like, I felt panicky. I was like, and I love Scott. Scott was like a friend of mine, but it was this feeling of like, I can't be committed. I can't be committed. I can't be committed. I was up all night thinking about it. And then before the morning before the school bus came, I wrote him a note. This all notes, I guess, breaking up with him. Yeah. Because I was just like, I can't do this. I literally felt like I had like a turtleneck on all the time. I was like, I'm not free. And so then I get to school and it's so sad. I wonder if this is one of his core memories, but he was walking because it was our first day as boyfriend and girlfriend in 7th grade. And we hadn't seen it happen last night. And then I show up in the morning, he's walking down the hall with his best friend and his face like lights up and he's like, Molly. And I was like, hi, and hand him the note and walk right past him. And the note was breaking up with him. Oh. And he was one of my good friends like through high school and stuff. But both those stories together, like they stick with me. I think they're core memories because they just embody like how I am now with dating. But well, not in the terms of like that strong fear of commitment anymore, but that level of just like going with my intuition and also like going for what I want. I'm not afraid to, I don't have any like, well, the man's job is to make the first move. Like, if I'm into you, I'm going to say something. And if you don't respond, then like, thank you, moving on. And, releasing yourself of, even when I've been in like heartbreaks or when I've been in the middle of getting my heart broken, if I just open up and say everything I feel, make sure you know exactly how I felt. I know you don't feel the same, like you're breaking my heart. I'm going to say this and then I'm free. Like I feel so much better. And then I don't get like hung up on it because I'm like, you knew everything. Yeah. I was real. And I no longer have to worry about like, well, what if he knew that I really felt? No.
Yeah. I felt the same exact way when I would tell a guy I liked them. It would either be like in a note, I would write them songs. Yes. But it felt so good. I'm like, I don't care. Like it's out there. I don't have to, I'm released from that agony. Exactly like you said. I don't have to just like dwell on it anymore. It's out there. And like, I don't care. I didn't even care if they reciprocated.
Their reaction doesn't matter then because you're just like.
I mean, like that would be dope if they like wanted to like me too, but most of the time, no. Cause I was also very awkward. I was like, I didn't grow into my, I just looked like
you were talking with your butt cheeks and stuff.
No. But I was just I was a lot. I mean, I'm still a lot today, but like because I would sing to them in the middle of like the cafeteria. Like there was one time where I sang Hercules, the no chance, no way, musical I won't theater. Say it, no. I would just like sing that like to him with my friends and they'd be laughing. I didn't care. But I have this one last memory to piggyback off like the kind of boys of it all. There was one time on the bus and this was going to bowling and this is 6th grade and I had like this is like my first maybe boyfriend and it didn't really mean anything. It was just this like one of my guy best friend Andrew. I didn't really like him. It was
it's just like
I liked him but not in that way, but it was fine. It was like we were just kind of more best friends. We were just like weird and like gross together. Not in like a sexual, like we didn't do anything. It was just kind of like we were just stupid kids. But he was like my boyfriend, and we were on the bus to go to bowling after school, and that was like the cool thing to do. And I was in the back of the bus, just hanging out. We're all having a good time, and then this other kid, John. I don't know what was going on at this moment in time, but he was just starting to like tease me. Oh. And then he just called me, because maybe it just come out that like me and Andrew were like official boyfriend, girlfriend. And he goes like, you're a $2 hoe on a Saturday night.
What?
Yeah, he just told that to me. And then Andrew punched him in the face. And I just started crying. Oh. I didn't understand. Because I just remember their faces were just like, kids that weren't ready to like get into like they're both kind of shocked.
Yeah, like they're not
looking at each other.
And he probably he heard that somewhere and just said it to you.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think there was like
hoe on a Saturday.
One punch and then another like punch or hit. I can't remember, but I just remember seeing both of their faces and just crying. So we get off the bus. Obviously, there's like mayhem. Like everyone's yelling. The PTA moms that were there were like, you know, separated them, and then like we're talking to me, and I just remember one of the moms hated her. She was a wreck, and so was her daughter. That's all I'll say. Anyway, she was talking down to me like it was my fault.
Wow, for the boys fighting over you?
Yes. And I don't remember the exact words she said, but I remember being so horrified. They ended up calling my mom. Don't know why.
What?
My mom had to come pick me up.
What?
I know. And then my mom, I remember her talking to the other PTA mom as she's telling her the story, and I'm just sitting there like so upset.
You didn't even do it. Did the boys' mom have to come?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then my mom comes over to me and she just rolls her eyes and she's like, "Do you want to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And we go, and she's like, "She called you a Helen of Troy." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You know, I was called that." It's like when she was in my mom, when she was in high school, there was like two guys just like fought because I don't know, she didn't give one of them time of day. And she was called that by the teachers too.
Really?
She was just like, she's like, "I can't believe it. Like, don't ever listen to that."
Good for her.
Yeah. She's like, "That was not your fault." And I just felt, it was just one of those moments where you just feel so guilty and you don't know why over like this violent interaction. And it's like
between boys, and the girls are made to feel.
And if my mom didn't tell me otherwise, I would have held on to that feeling of like their emotional irregulation is my fault and it's my responsibility because boys will be boys and they have this innate like something in them to be physical because of toxic masculinity, patriarchy, whatever, however you want to, you know, boil it down to. It is the woman's fault. It is the girl's fault. A girl as young as I was 11, 12 years old. You know, it's my fault. And then after that, I was just like, oh, it's not my fault. I was released from that.
Wow. Good for your mom.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
And I was like, fuck that shit.
That is not.
Yeah.
I remember in 6th grade, I don't know, well, maybe I do know why this is stuck, but I would go to sleep. So we lived in a town where everybody listened to country music, and we moved there when I was like 12, and I could not get with it. Like I tried. I bought the Shania Twain CD because I liked Man, I Feel Like a Woman, and then I traded it on the school bus for Nelly's Country Grammar. Yeah. But that town, it was like country radio stations, and there was a hip hop station from the next town over. So it was Fuzzy. But I listened to Fuzzy Radio for like 7 years because I was like, I have to. I gotta do this. So I was falling asleep, and I always listened to this 107.3 back in the day, Lunch Buffet, and it was Ludacris Fantasy was on. I told you this probably. And I was drifting off. It was like that like blissful part of when you're almost asleep and you're just like so relaxed and you're aware that you're almost asleep, and it was like so relaxing. Yeah. And I remember the song, it was the part was, it's like, we could do it in the library on top of books, but you can't be too loud. And my mom walks in to check on me. And, you know, it's this whole song. I want to lick you from your... And my mom, she walks in and she's like, "What are you listening to?" And I was like mad because I was almost asleep. I was like, God, like, and I was like, what? This is what I listen to. And I remember she's like, "Your brother listens to the Beatles when he goes to sleep." Like, why? She didn't turn it off or anything. She just came in and was like, "What is happening?" Because her 11-year-old daughter is like falling asleep to Ludacris talking about licking you. I don't blame you, Mom. It's a little, but it is what it is.
It's so funny.
Oh my God.
I love that. You just love rap so much.
Yeah.
I love Ludacris. No, maybe it's, I love the idea of the library being.
No, it was more about rap. But yeah, no, all the situations that he described, like, not against it.
He had something going. He was onto something.
Yeah, he was onto something. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have I wrote down so many. I know you did too. With like, we gotta wrap her up. Yeah. We can do more of these though.
We'll have a part 2 maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Well, we had so much fun talking about these stories. I mean, they're funny. It's like things that like you think about maybe in passing one, but like to actually remember them is a trip. So we encourage you to kind of do that yourself, maybe with a friend, and maybe record it. Send it to us.
Send them to us. That's what we need to do. We need to have a roundup. We'll put a call to arms on call to
talk about other people's if you want us to talk about it, and like in our part 2, that's really fun.
That'd be really cute. And put them in our stories. Like if you guys record a little video of you talking, like saying your first memory,
or if you want to type
your first
whatever
memory,
you want to do.
A core memory. Type it or a video, DM us, and then we'll share anonymously. Or if you're a video, it's not going to be anonymous. So. Yeah. But thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram at the SOS Pod, YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, anywhere that you stream podcasts. Patreon, $3 a month, $7 a month, or $11 a month if you want to really support us, if you're a real one. Yeah. I'm Molly Cottrell.
I'm Alissa Rosano.
Here's to turning meltdown
into magic.